could put No Kings Protest. You could put African Spirituality Scams.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
And more.
Because you know Sarah's going to get on me. All right. All right, we are live. So I'm going to play.
People who think they need TRT, when I hear about guys in their 20s and 30s, look, I'm in my mid 40s, and I can tell you that you can get and maintain very healthy testosterone levels without TRT if you do the right things, the behaviors, the nutrition, all the other stuff early on. There's sometimes people are have hypogonadal syndromes and things like that. Now, for people that aren't getting prescribed TRT but want the increase in testosterone, there are these plant compounds like tonga ali. So testosterone has some very interesting effects on the brain. The major mental effect of testosterone is it makes effort feel good.
Oh, that makes sense.
The way this works in animals and in humans as well is that for most species, the males of that species never get a chance to mate. And they have to fight for the right to mate.
Yes.
Fight for your right to mate. Visit xlabsubs.com to get your risk-free trial now. Link in the comments section.
People who think they need
Hey,
TRT, when I hear about
look who's back in the building. X Labs, X Wolf is back in the building. You guys remember we used to promote X Wolf a few years back, and people loved X Wolf. So they reached out and they want more national exposure on the ZoWhat morning show. Everybody come in, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. Please do that. Come in and hit that like button. Do not hesitate to hit that like button. We have an incredible show today. An absolutely incredible show lined up for you. Please, please, please show your love, show your love, show your love. Hit the like button, hit the like button. Subscribe. We recently lost about 60 subscribers over the weekend. I don't know what that's about. It is what it is. Everybody has to hit the like button, though. Shout out your city. Somebody said, mic is low, Zo. Testing 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Because Rod McDaniels says my mic is low. Is my mic low for everybody? Can people tap in and let me know if my sound is good? Tap in. What up, Deontay Davis? Is my mic low? Turn up the audio a bit, please. Somebody said it's definitely low. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. My niece says I hear you.
I adjusted.
You adjusted it. We are all good. We are all good. Ladies and gentlemen, the ZoWhat Morning Show back in the building. Donnie B says, you good, Zo? Man, I got a great show lined up for you today. As you know, what's commonplace is we like to promote black-owned businesses at the beginning. X Wolf is a business we've been promoting for the longest. Prentice Jones is the first to hit our super chat. Thank you. And of course, X Wolf was one of those legacy brands that we have been promoting for a long time. They just reached back, and now they're back in the building. You saw their clip. Please continue to support. Let me just say this. These are the orders. Deontay Davis, thank you. These are the orders for He Is Risen. Right? The He Is Risen orders will be going out today. Today. I'm shipping those out today. It's 9 orders from all over the nation. He is Risen is a cold piece of work, man. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack X-Wolf with He is Risen. I'm just going to see what happens, what kind of werewolf I turn into. Support these black-owned businesses. He is Risen. Go to my website, MrZoWhat.com. Continue to support. Go to my website, MrZoWhat.com, to get your He is Risen. Also, we're promoting Russell Herbals. Dr. Russell. Go to RussellHerbals.com. I say it every week. You know, he's our contemporary Dr. Sebi. He's just like, not to say he is Dr. Sebi or he's taken Dr. Sebi's place, but he's one of those, what in West African belief system, Osayan, the Orisha of herbs and medicine. That's who that brother is, Dr. Russell. Please continue to support all of the businesses that we put in front of you. Of course, you got Total Package Energy. Total Package Energy, black-owned business out of the Bay Area. If we're going to buy energy drinks, why not buy energy drinks from a black-owned company? Reputable. Been in business over 10 years. Total Package Energy out of the Bay Area. They got B12 shots, vitamin C shots. They got pea protein for your after or pre-workout shakes. They got all of it. And then, of course, they have their legendary energy shot, Total Package Energy, TPE. Go to TotalPackageEnergy.com. Tell them Zoe Williams sent you. Now, we got X Labs. We got He is Risen. We got Total Package Energy. We got Russell Herbals. That's 4 black-owned businesses that you can really run up on and go support. Also, don't forget to support your brother Zoe Williams. Deontay Davis dropped a 10 spot on the Cash App. We have a Mr. Quint 27 dropped a 5 spot. Prentice Jones dropped a 5 spot. We appreciate it. Our goal is 30. We got 3 out of 30 on the super chat. If you want to continue to support and help us reach our goal, all you got to do is go down to the $ at the bottom of the chat and drop at least a 5 spot for today's conversation. Or y'all know what you can do. You can go directly to my Cash App. Please support my Cash App. Please go to my Cash App, $ZoWhat Nectar. You got 2 options to support Zoe. That's either the Super Chat or my Cash App. We count them both towards the goal that we're trying to hit, which is 30 support chats, whether it's Super Chat or Cash App. And by the time this show is done, we're going to have nearly 400 people in here watching. So support. We only asked 30 people to show up out of 400. Please support. My niece is in the chat right now promoting my books, The Shrouded Lighthouse 2021, The Relationship Dismount 2015, The Holographic Relationship. All of these books are available on Amazon.com. Go support. Everybody coming in must hit the like button. That's how we get into the algorithm. All right, I'm done promoting right now. I got a special guest. 2 special guests. A husband and wife. And we're going to deal with some things. Of course, our current event. Prentice, hit us up one more again. Thank you, Prentice. We're going to deal with some things. Things that are going on currently. And I have a very unique question to ask them. And this brother, this is the guy I go to. I'm gonna tell you, I think I told you guys about this brother before, man. Like, this brother came to my house and prayed so hard that he was exhausted. The man, after he finished, He drugged them birds all over my house, in every crevice, all on the walls. Just the man prayed so hard, it's almost like he knocked himself out. I ain't never seen nobody pray like that. And he yelling at me, Zo, you pray. Say the prayer, Zo. Hey, listen.
That's you. You do that.
We did a cleansing on my house. And when I say that man put every ounce of energy he had and fell out on the couch after it was over. All right, Zo, I'm done. I loved every moment, man. That house was right ever since. I'm telling you. My brother, Baba Ogun, and his wife is in here today. Come on, man. Introduce yourself to my people, to my audience. We're going to talk some real talk today, man. I got some real folk up in here. Please introduce yourselves and let the people know who they're talking to.
Hi. So I am Amihe, and all my friends, they just call me Uni. And I identify as a spiritual practitioner because I am a multi-traditional practitioner, meaning I'm part of multiple spiritual traditions, but they are never to be mixed. They are always to be practiced separately. So that is who I am. Those are some of the things that I do. I'm also a published author and an entrepreneur. Baba?
Bablau Olumu Akamara. Yes. I've been in IFA now for about close to 15, 16 years. Of course, I lived the, what you call the American dream. I graduated college, I pledged fraternity. I had a good corporate job, and something happened, and then my life collapsed. And come to find out, someone had hexed me, and that's what led to spirituality in the beginning. A lady saw me on the street. She was like, "Yeah, you got a bad curse in you." She was like, "You need to get a Babalao." I said, "What's a Babalao?" I ain't never heard of that. It's new to me. So it took me a year and a half to find a Babalao that would accept me. After that, he removed the hex, and I was grateful for that. So what led me to get into spirituality was, after that, I just hung around. I wanted to learn more because I didn't want it to happen to me again. It cost me everything, my marriage, my job, everything. I didn't want it to happen to me again. So I wanted to learn a little something about it. In the beginning, you go and you see movies and stuff, and you think to yourself, but I had seen what happened to me, so I said, it got to be something to it. So that's when I went and got my, I got my first reading with Aroma Miller, and I saw him write down the little dunes on the paper, and I had worked for a computer company, so I knew binary code. And I looked, I said, "What the?" I said, "It looked like binary code to me." So that's when it really struck my interest that he was communicating with the spirit through the Oduns, but the Oduns were like binary codes because they were ones and zeros. So I was like, "Wow, this is incredible." So I was like,
I got you. That's line and sinker, huh?
Yeah, that's when it hit.
So how many disciplines have you traversed through? Now, you told me about voodoo and Palo and all of these different, I guess, iterations of the mother belief, which I will call Ifa. But how many of these disciplines have you studied, have you mastered, and offer to people who seek your help?
Okay, first of all, nobody in a human lifetime can master any pantheon. Mm-hmm. Let's make that clear. So if somebody ever tell you they can master something, that's a straight up lie right there. I'm proficient.
Come on.
I'm proficient. For a man's age, I'm not an elder, but for a man my age, I'm proficient. You seen my work firsthand.
Don't short yourself saying you're not an elder. Just because you don't look as seasoned as you are doesn't mean you're not seasoned in age and experience. You are very much so an elder. You just have a little baby face. That's all. I keep telling him don't shave off his gray. But he won't listen.
Yeah, but I don't consider myself an elder because I see people in the 80s and 90s doing this, and I consider them the elders. I give them all the respect which is due to them. So that's why I say that. But it take a lot of time, man. It's like, and see, when I first went to my spiritual house, my first initiation was in voodoo. Because when I came down there, everybody they read me, and they said that I had the Baru Samedi on. Right. I had the skeleton face. So my first initiation was voodoo. Then it started with voodoo, and then I got my hand in Ifa, and then after that, then I saved, and I got crowned with a boom, and it came out in another ceremony. I was supposed to receive initiation into the other African practice. You're not really supposed to discuss it, but the other African practice. But so I got all my initiation because you have to go through various amounts of initiation first. Right. Various amounts. You just can't just become a Babalawo overnight, even though people like to claim it, but you can't. It takes a long time.
So this ain't no easy process, right? You can't just stumble into being a Babalawo. You can't stumble into reaching that level to be able to divine.
No.
What I like to give people the analogy of is, or the imagery of, is picture a surgical room. And so in that surgical room, typically people are what? They're wearing scrubs. Right. They've scrubbed in, they've got their gloves, they're suited up, they're ready, they've got their headgear on there, they look the part.
Right.
But let's just say you have someone come in that can look the part, but they haven't had the training in the years of experience working under those who taught them what it means to be a surgeon. They're just going to stand there, and then you're going to quickly realize, oh, they don't belong here. Oh, they don't belong here. They're not really one of us. They may look like us, but they're not really one of us.
They're dressed like us.
They're dressed like us.
They don't perform like us. They don't
perform like us.
Ooh. Everybody hit the like button, man. If you just coming in, it's about to get... Listen, we're just scraping the surface of what we need to talk about today. Are you guys ready to follow me on this journey of current events? Because then after we go into the current events, we got some serious stuff to talk about in terms of people impersonating Babalawos. Ifa scams, scamming people for tens of thousands of dollars to do rituals. This is a real situation that's happening in the streets, and we want to talk about it today. But before we do that, we got to talk about what's happening in the world. So, over the weekend, there was this huge protest across the country. No kings, right? Let me tell you, Donald Trump is hilarious. Did you guys see the memes that J.D. Vance posted of Donald Trump as a king flying a fighter jet and dropping loads of crap on the protesters? When I say crap, I mean feces. Again, this whole concept of no kings is coming out of the original formation of the United States, the original 13 colonies. They did not want to be under the tyranny of a king, right? So the Declaration of Independence is actually a breakup letter to Great Britain, to King George, right? They cite their grievances in the letter by saying, we would have been faithful servants if you would have kept up your part of the bargain. You have reneged on that, and that's when they declared their independence. It's really a Dear John letter, a breakup letter to Great Britain. But when they began to formalize their central government, They made the government intentionally weak because they didn't want to be under the rulership of a tyrant. Right? They had just come out from under the rulership of King George. They didn't want that anymore. So this is what this whole protest is about. They're saying Donald Trump is behaving like a king, which is antithetical to the Constitution. He's saying we don't have kings here in America. I beg to differ. I'm going to say white supremacy is king. I'm going to say, why is it that all of the presidents, or at least the majority of them, are related? Sounds like the line of succession that the aristocracy goes through for me. We got people in the building. Let's bring them in. What are your thoughts on this whole No Kings protest, husband and wife? Talk to us.
You know, I really think that you hit it on the nose when you talked about white supremacy, for example. Right now, here's the thing. People will look at my skin and they will automatically judge me and try to peg me as something. I'm Creole. And so with that being said, yeah, I know about white supremacy. It baffles me at how, can I speak freely?
Freely.
Okay. He said not too freely. It baffles me how if someone tries to say that white supremacy is not a thing and not an issue in America, then I would challenge you to look at all of the white extremist hate groups and at how they are identified as white extremist hate groups, but they are still allowed to exist. But then if you juxtapose and compare that with the treatment of, let's just say, even the Black Panthers, or within other civil rights leaders that were Black, when you compare those and you see the difference of the treatment, is how you are able to see that white supremacy is very much alive and well just because they still exist.
Right.
And so I can definitely speak to that. Baba, do you want to add something for your thoughts?
Well, I want to take you down another route. Race. Because since I was on your show the last time, it's been over a year. As you can see in my face, I done lost maybe 80 pounds since you last saw me. I've acquired a great deal of knowledge in a short amount of time. So let me say that, okay? And for humanity as a whole, race, tribalism, culturalism, politics, and now in the modern age, sports, social media, it's all divisive. And it's to keep us distracted. It's the year 2026. No, excuse me, I spoke correct.
Oh, okay, go
spoke
for it.
correct.
Oh, you spoke correct.
It's going on the year 2026, okay? There's no reason that humanity should not be at a fifth dimensional thought process. Okay? So as long as humanity keeps holding itself back by engaging in these distractions of race baiting or tribalism, or I'm this, I'm from here, I'm from this country, I'm from that country, I don't speak that language. Oh, I'm not Black, I'm not. See, all that is a distraction. That's how you end up getting kings. Because you're so distracted, you allow one to rise right behind you. People in higher positions do not discuss such things. What they discuss is controlling you. That's it. You got to understand, they have huge antennas all around the world. Each country has them, that puts out certain frequencies to really topple the minds of humanity. For instance, in rap music, you know, when I was growing up, we had KRS-One, we had, you know,
Chuck
we
D.
had rappers, we had very conscious rappers, you know, speaking about black elevation and so on and so forth.
Right.
But when they introduced that 808 beat drum, the 808 beat drum, that's when gangster rap started. Frequency and vibration. Frequency and vibration. No matter what's going on around you in your reality, read it, the Emerald Tablets of Thought, Tahuti. You can warp your reality by your thought process. Since I met you, I've been through a lot as far as enlightenment. As far as enlightenment. And as you can see, I look different.
Yeah.
Married. New home, house. I tapped into something more. And I tell you that I strive every day to ascend.
Right.
To ascend. You have to push yourself to the limits of your consciousness.
Right.
But you're only limited by your consciousness. Because we all have that divine spark of the one true source, Odawara. That's what we refer to him as. Everybody has a name around the planet. Same deity, same source deity, the one source code, the one that first started consciousness. We call it what you want. Right. It's incomprehensible by mankind. Understand that, but we have a piece of that in us. It's so without, so within, so above, so below. And
God consciousness.
So if people would focus on that and not each other, we could elevate as a whole race.
So wait a minute. Let me get this clear. You're basically saying everything that's going on in the world right now is but a mere distraction that prevents you from looking inward and doing this inner work that heals and reveals, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? That's what Baba is saying right now. You got to look in, and by looking in, something is revealed, then you're on the pathway to healing, and that's how you elevate or evolve psychologically, or psycho-spiritually. Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying. I'm going to jump in too and add another layer on it, because here's the thing about that elevation. When you're able to do that, that's not the only thing that you get. Yes, you get healing. Yes, you get this awareness. Yes, your life begins to change for the better, but you also get power. And that's what people don't want the common people to have. Spiritual power and internal power. So they don't want them to have.
Wait.
That's why
you just tapped on something really
big.
big. You tapped on something really big. What is the difference between societal power? Because many of us want social power, the power of the dollar, the status that comes along with it, the neighborhood we live in, the car we drive. What is the difference between spiritual power and societal power or social power? Is there a difference?
Do you want to answer first?
Okay, well, it's really simple. If you are spiritual and controlling matrix, it's very simple. Okay, you don't get brought into, as you would say in the religion, I'm not going to sully my whites. I'm not going to have you pull me down back into the mud. Because, you know, people try.
Mm-hmm.
People see your light. People see your light.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, for instance, you know, I dress in all white. She dresses in all white. Okay, you don't think people notice that.
Mm-hmm.
It brings a lot of attention. A lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then for when other spiritualists see you through a spiritual lens, and they see what you are and what you walk with, it brings envy, it brings attack, it brings jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's the primal stuff that mankind needs to get away from. How long are we going to stay in that primal consciousness of envy and jealousy, augmentation, war, battle? If you do that, it's a hamster wheel. There's so much more in the universe for mankind to see and discover
and achieve.
It's enough.
Right.
It's enough moons. Every person it's 8 billion people on Earth. Everybody can have their own moon to live on.
Mm-hmm.
In the universe, everybody can have their own moon. That's how much room it is. So it's an infinite realm of possibilities, but we limit ourselves with the distractions. The technology is there. The knowledge is there. Eric von Braun, that came over from Germany, was the head of NASA's rocket program. He gave him the mathematics to reach Mars back in the 60s. See, Nikola Tesla came along. He discovered how to use wireless electricity, earth energy, electromagnetism. He discovered it and gave it and said, look, I got it. We don't have to use electricity. They said, nah, bro, they're going to pay for that. Nah, we're going to make them pay for that. Zoe, you're a very intelligent man. You are very wise. And I say this all the time. The sons of Eshu, to me, are just as wise and cunning as those sons of Abathala. And Abathala is known as wisdom. Eshu is the communicator. When you write Odun for Eshu, you first started out with Ejiobe, the Odun light, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know you grew. Do you not think there has been other technology since 1918 when the first car was introduced?
Come on, absolutely.
So why are we still putting gas in? Why is the world still so hard pressed for oil?
Because
even though it pollutes and corrupts the planet and all the food and all the land and the water.
Right, because it makes money.
Yeah, so
they'd rather get the money than allow the technology to transform society in a way. They want to squeeze every bit of juice out of the earth. If we're going to use the metaphor of oil being juice, they're going to squeeze all of it out of the earth until it's all gone. Then we'll move to another level. Right? Of course the technology is there. Of course the technology has been there, especially if you look at the rate in which technology evolves. It evolves faster than society, right? So if, what they say, technology doubles and triples every 18 months, and that was back in the 60s. So imagine how fast it's doubling and tripling now, right? It's exponentially growing. So again, they slow down the release of technology so they can move society along at its pace, the pace of commerce. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yes.
See, the SU just communicated.
So for me, the thing about me and Baba is that you know, I love when we get to have our conversations because we both agree on the same things and yet are able to have different perspectives or bring out different aspects on topics, right?
Right.
That's like the mark of a good pair. And so when I think about spiritual power and like let's say spiritual power versus, as you identified, societal power, correct?
Right.
The core thing about societal power is that it can be taken away.
Ooh, come on. Here we go.
Spiritual power, that can't be taken away. Unless there's deity involved that chooses to strip you, but that's another conversation. But essentially, spiritual power cannot be taken away. So that is something that when you cultivate your spiritual growth, when you get tapped in with your ancestors, when you get tapped in whatever spiritual path that you are in, working with whoever you're working with, and as you ascend, that knowledge, that wisdom, that power, that cannot be taken away. And spiritual power has the ability to influence all of those things that are happening in society, which is why spiritual power is truly bigger than any other type of power that exists. It's bigger than money because it can bring money. It's bigger than love because it can bring love. It's bigger than status because it can bring status too.
See?
You see what I'm saying? It has the potential to do all of those things because essentially, what is magic but creating your environment to be what it needs to be for you and other people?
Right.
At its core, no matter what magic someone works, it is a manifestation of your will or the will of those you work for in their lives.
Okay. I see where you're going with that, and I could smoke a bag of it if I smoked. But to go back to Baba's point about music, I 100% agree with your wife, Baba, what she just said. But if we go back to your point about music, and if we look at the degradation of music through hip hop currently, we've been casting spells on ourselves, keeping us chasing, right, an illusory form of currency when your wife just told us. Wait, hold on. She just explained it to us. She said, listen, spiritual power is more powerful than societal power because societal power can be taken away. And once you cultivate spiritual power, it can't be taken away because you've connected to something primordial, something that's beyond ancient, something that is the foundation of all universes and galaxies. So it can't be taken away. You've come into the realization of it. So if that's the key, and we've been putting ourselves in a spell, I'm asking you, Baba, how do we break that spell?
First way you break the spell, though, is you have to reject everything that you've been taught. You have to reject everything that you've been taught this far. You have to reject it with your heart and your soul and start to rebuild based on what you need to learn and how you need to grow, how you need to meditate, frequency, vibration.
It's a deconstruction of faith.
Right.
That's what they call it now. People say, they use that term all the time. I'm deconstructing my faith. It's like the army. I love to give imagery when I talk based off of what Baba's saying. Imagine the army. What is the one thing they tell you? They tell you, you go in, they break you down, so what? So that they can build you back up into the image that they want you to be. That's the same type of thing when it comes to deconstructing your faith. You're removing those preconceived notions and things that you have been taught and have been indoctrinated even to believe that aren't of good service to you.
I mean, because you have to understand. you cannot go anywhere without seeing an ad. You can't go. It was a particular show that came on Netflix, and they turned it because I don't watch horror movies. I stopped there. I don't watch movies, period. You know, only one I'll watch. I like my man, the Beekeeper, and Denzel. Yeah, I like his stuff. But for the most part, when you break this thing down for yourself, right, and you reconstruct yourself and you pursuing to manifest yourself to be a higher vibrational and higher frequency being, all that is hidden in front of you. Illusion falls at your feet. Because every time you always hear it, because they always hide everything in plain sight.
Come on.
Yep. That's the
So
one.
when you elevate, everything that's hidden becomes undiscovered to you. Okay, I tell my students this. I said, if you want to learn more in depth about Ifa, or you want to learn more about this process of spirituality, you have to watch the very first Matrix movie, because it's a documentary. It's not a movie. Forget all the ones after that. Watch the very first one. When they unalive Neo, and he was so in love with the woman, he pushed the boundaries of his reality to come back to his one true love. Right? So when he stood up, what did he see?
He saw the code.
Saw the code.
Yep.
What does that code look like?
It looked like Ifa. It looked like ones and zeros. Binary.
It's the fabric of reality.
Right.
Now, here's the part. Can you get to the point where you can put in your own code into the matrix, where you like Neo and you allow to move freely within the matrix? The two testament of men.
Right.
That testament of mankind. That's how you get yourself to a 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th dimensional, 10th dimensional being.
And this is back to your initial point when you said, the No Kings protest. Yes, it's important on a societal level. What's happening in the news, what's happening in the government. You're saying all of this is kind of constructed. It is produced, right, to cause distraction, so that we're not looking to cultivate these skills to become this Neo internally, right? Or Heo, or Shio, right? We're expecting somebody else to come in and be the one and the savior, as opposed to the self-savior, which cultivates this truth internally. Now, what's interesting is, before we go even further, I want to play this video clip. And I want to encourage people to go to my guests. These are my people. Y'all know me. I don't bring randoms or fugazis around. These are my folks. That brother right there was in my house. People, hey, that's my brother right there. When I tell you, Baba Ogun looked out for me, man, and I ain't never had nobody pray for me with that much passion and vigor and fervor. That man ran every demon up out of that house. Them demons was running scared because of this brother. I want people to go to their website. Can you guys tell them what the website is, how they connect with you on social media, if they need readings or anything of that nature? How do they do it?
Yes, so you want to go to unitreasures.co. So that is where you're going to find my personal website, and it will direct you to spiritual products. It will direct you to books I've written. It will direct you to readings that I give, etc. And then when you want to go with his, then what you're going to go to is savagelion.carrd.com. And that's going to direct you to all the services and readings that he has. Now, from there, you can get pretty much scheduled with any of our services that we do offer between the two of us. We are currently working on consolidating our sites into one. But for now, that's where you can reach us all together. There is one that I did send. Can you bring it up on yours? It's the your clipboard. We're working on bringing it up. All right, so currently this is a place where you can get some of our things consolidated to actually schedule. And so it is uni, and then there's a hyphen treasures.square.site. So that is the link with the HTTPS, etc., where you can go directly to get those things and schedule your services and readings from us, because we do different types of readings. He has the readings that he does that are related to Ifa and Voodoo, etc. And then I have other types of readings, like ancestor readings, because I'm also a psychic medium.
I got the ancestor reading. That ancestor reading was cold-blooded.
And you see me on camera, so like you know that I didn't use any divination tools.
She didn't, and she got emotional. Like mama Nim started coming through, and she was like, "Man, your mama Nim saying you need to talk to me more." I said, "Oh hell, man, let me get up out of here." It was too much. It was too much. The ancestor reading was wild.
Because I don't tell anyone that gets readings or anything like that. Man. I keep that hush hush. But thank you for that.
That ancestor reading was cold blooded. She told me. She said, "Yo, people told me to tell you, stop messing with them skeezers."
How did I know you were going to say that, so? Listen.
When she, what could I say?
Okay, what could I just relay the message.
What could I say? I couldn't say nothing else. I just shut up.
Just relay the messages that they give me when they speak directly. Sometimes, some ancestors are a little bit more, what's the word the kids are saying now? Demure. And then some of them, you get Big Mama in there, and she's like, no.
Yeah. Well, we got Big Mama, we got Mama, we got everybody showed up. I said, damn, okay. But yes, I've had their services before, and it's really, really good. As a matter of fact, Baba was talking about the meaning of Ifa. Can you play that video from Iyanla Van Zant? And before you go to the video, please continue to hit the super chat, guys. We're at 8. We got 8 super chats here today. Unless somebody else has a different score. You can also go to my Cash App, $ZoWhat Netter. Please support. We're counting all of that towards our goal of trying to get 30. But here is a video of Iyanla Van Zant talking about Ifa. Check it out.
I am a Yoruba priestess. I am a minister in one of the most ancient traditions of African spirituality that exist. The Yoruba tradition are based on the oracles of Ifa. So the oracles of Ifa are the sacred scriptures for the Yoruba people that teach you about living in order and value and balance. But the 4 basic principles for life that Yoruba people live by is number 1, honor God. Have an intimate relationship with the God of your understanding. And since Yorubas didn't speak English, they didn't say God, they said Olodumare or Olorum.
It paused. It paused. The video paused.
I am a Yoruba priestess. I am a minister in one of the most ancient traditions of African spirituality that exist. The Yoruba tradition are based on the oracles of Ifa. So the oracles of Ifa are the sacred scriptures for the Yoruba people that teach you about living in order and value and balance. But the four basic principles for life that Yoruba people live by is number one, honor God. Have an intimate relationship with the God of your understanding. And since Yorubas didn't speak English, they didn't say God, they said Olodumare or Olorun. But that is not to say there's another God, it's just honoring the tongue of the people that are worshiping the God. The other principle is have a relationship with your ancestors and your clan. So those people who came before you, those people who worked the land or the country or the culture in which you live, you must have a good relationship with them. In European spirituality, they're called angels. In African spirituality, they're called ancestors. The third tenet is have a relationship with your parents and your family. The African culture and tradition spiritually doesn't believe in put your parents in the nursing home. You got to take care of mama and daddy and grandma and big mama and big daddy till they're gone, because that's how you get blessed in heaven, just to have a good relationship with your parents and your clan on earth, and finally have a good relationship with your community. So a relationship with God, your creator, a relationship with your ancestors and your guardians, and a relationship with your family, your parents, your clan, and a relationship with your immediate community. Those are the four tenets of a healthy, balanced life according to Yoruba tradition, presented in the form of 256 Odu that give the oral tradition of how to manage and master your life.
Or someone who's interested in Orisha can go to somebody, and if they don't know any better, that person can ask them for tens of thousands of dollars for Orisha initiation and not know whether that person's even initiated or not.
You serious?
Absolutely. And it's happened. Like, there's been stories of literally people, giving all this money and never seeing the person again, or people going through the initiation rites with the person that was supposed to be initiating them because they weren't initiated at all. It happens all the time, and it's only getting worse now.
So can this have an actual spiritual effect, though? Because if you are not initiated and you're doing these things and you're talking to these orishas, or you're trying to do sacrifices for these orishas and you're not even valid, there's got to be some negative consequences to that spiritually, right?
Either in this life or the next, you will face repercussions.
Have clear intentions, right? Know what you are seeking along this journey. If you come into it with good intentions, with a pure heart, then you are likely going to find the right person.
No, that's Toussaint L'Ouverture. That's another piece. So, here we go. The church been pimping us for years. And let me just say, it's a lot of good churches out there. There's a lot of good pastors out there who do a lot of good work. Okay? There's some pastors out there that take care of the elderly, the sick, and the shut-in. There's some pastors out there that pay rent, that pay the electric bill. There's some pastors out there that keep food in old folks' refrigerators. There's some pastors out there that are doing some good work. And the black church used to be this central space, right? Used to be this central space where the community could coalesce around. Fast forward, 2025, 2021, 2018, 2017, 2015. African spirituality is on the rise. Black women are leaving the black church in droves, looking for somewhere else to go that will elevate their spirit in a different way than Christianity. enter the scammers. We knew the church was scamming. Jimmy Swaggart, Peter Popoff, what was his name? The PTA Club Baker. Him and Tammy, right? And you know, when white folk are using Jesus to scam black folk, that black preacher's gonna say, wait a minute, you can't get all the money, let me scam some of my own people.
Oh my God.
So now, we gonna go back to the oldest of the old, the first people to even conceptualize the idea of Olodumare, i.e. God, the feathered serpent, right? First people to ever conceptualize any of that. We gonna go back. Hell, we got preachers naming themselves after money, Creflo Dollar. Wait, I'm sorry, I digress. We're going to go back to ancient spirituality and we're going to turn it into a scam. People are using Ifa to scam when Ifa is predicated on a concept called Iwa Puele, good character. And you know, anybody who knows Ifa, if you use Ifa to hurt somebody, because Ifa is the light, if you use Ifa to hurt, it's coming back. It's coming back. So why would people go out here and use this ancient spiritual belief system to rob people? Y'all got to explain that to me. Husband and wife, Baba Ogun, your wife, y'all got to clear this up for us, man.
Let me jump in first. Let me jump in first because, I want to bring another element because you tapped onto something when you said the words that black folks are leaving the church in droves. I believe you were just speaking to black women in general, but so my bachelor's degree is in sociology. Mm-hmm. And so that is the study of cultures, of people, of society, how they think, what they believe, the cultural norms, the rules, the regulations that cultures have, whereas psychology focuses on the individual and how the individual thinks.
Right.
Okay? So within sociology, we did start to see this trend about 15 years ago, and they labeled it the rise of the religious nuns. Not N-U-S, but N-O-N-E-S. And the reason we're seeing this trend was because people as a whole, they started doing the statistics and realizing people as a whole started leaving the church about 16 years ago. And they were then identifying as the religious nuns, meaning they grew up in the church. Mm-hmm. But now they're like, wait a minute, I'm not ready to identify as not having any type of religious affiliation. So they started turning to spirituality in the general sense. Mm-hmm. But then as time progressed, they started to be able to get more data and research and statistics. And then they realized that in particularly, yes, black folks are leaving the church in droves. Yes, it is true. Many of them are women. And a lot of it has to do with not just the corruption in general, but it has to do with not the money thing, but also just the abuse that is happening in the church. You know what I mean? The protecting of those who are committing those abuses that black women were seeing. And whereas black women have always been the fabric of society,
100%.
Black women would go to bat for anyone and anything. If they felt that it was correct, they were the ones who were willing to stand on the front lines. And yet those are the most unprotected and unrespected people. Black women were, and still are to this day. So yeah, they all started, so people started returning to their root in spirituality because ancestors began to wake up. Let's just keep it real. The ancestors began to speak louder. And they started to begin to manifest in people's lives to a point where, you know what? They could not deny and they could not continually reject. And they started to challenge them. And they went through this whole dark night of the soul moment.
Right.
To bring them to a place of wanting to join African spirituality. So that's the stage that you were describing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it was set, the stage. That's how we got to where we are.
Right.
But I will say that when it comes to people wanting to take advantage of others or use people for money and things of that nature, I will say that this is in every religion. Because like I like to say, religion isn't so much the issue. It's the people that are within the religions who don't have the right heart.
Right.
It's right moral character.
Right.
And oftentimes you will see religious leaders be willing to mentor and be willing to train people and not even be willing to divine and see if the person they're training has the right moral character to learn from. So now we're equipping people with spiritual power who, quite frankly, aren't nice people and have bad intentions. And that's how we got ourselves into the situation that we're into. But that is from a perspective. Baba can speak on it from a Babalawo perspective.
Baba Ogun.
It's very simple. Very simple. Pride and greed, envy, jealousy. That is the machine that drives it all. That is the machine that drives it all. When thou art prideful, you have no shame, no humiliation. We have none of that. When you are prideful, which was given to us by the fallen one, it states very clear the fallen one was the most prideful of all the angels. And because of his pride, he wanted his father's throne. He felt as though that throne belonged to him. And he had a couple cronies with him. Like, yo, look, well, if he gonna do it, we can do it too. Because they fell into their own pride.
Right.
Greed for the power, and then envy of the father, and jealousy. Those four things are behind all the evil that you see being committed. Because prideful spiritualists are the ones that always quick to do baneful magic or baneful work on somebody. People offer me thousands of dollars to do work for them. I said, I don't do baneful magic on people. Your money. All money ain't good money. Because when you see somebody with pride, first thing you say to yourself, I can't control this. Second thing I'll say to myself is, this is corruption. I try to talk them out of it, but when they hold their pride, you gotta get out from around me. You gotta go, because you're gonna start messing up my frequency and my vibration.
Oh, this is deep. This is deep. I got questions. Everybody, please continue to support. We got 9 super chats. I think 9 or 10 super chat. Infamous Big just hit us with a super chat. If you're enjoying the work that we're laying out here today, trust me, we just got started. I'm about to take the conversation to another level. They in here cooking, but I want you guys to support them and your brother Zo. You hear me? I want you guys to support us all. Go to my Cash App, $ZoWhat Netter. Also, hit the super chat, which is the $ down at the bottom of the chat. Everybody support. Please continue putting their website in the chat and go to their website because they do readings, collective and separate, ancestral. They do Ifa divination. My brother, the Babalawo, he works with me. When I need some help, I go to that brother.
Those issues, though.
Say what?
Like we also remove those things that corrupt practitioners put on people. We remove those curses and hexes from people. When you're innocent and you're being hurt and being taken advantage of, We're the ones that people come to help make things right within their lives. You know?
Yeah. And like I said, ever since meeting this brother, he ain't been nothing but a good brother to me. He ain't been nothing but solid. And like I said, please go support. Now, I got to take this conversation to the next level as we land this plane. Do we have that other clip? The one with it looks like a cartoon in the background. This is that right there.
Yes. Oh, that was our website.
So that's if I'm not mistaken, that's a clip. I want to play this clip because this is the final point here. Chakra Guru has given maybe 5 or 6 super chats today out of the 10 that we got. So I want people to show up, okay? Please show up, support. You can go to my Cash App, $ZoWhat Netter. Do you have the clip ready? Let's go. Check this out.
Everybody in Haiti knew about the French Revolution. When the black folks, especially the ones in the mountains, learned about the French Revolution, they're like, wait a minute. The French just revolted in France because they said they want their freedom? What the hell? We want our freedom also. Other thing, back to those Maroons in the mountains, was those Africans developed, as they did everything, they developed their own religion. And the religion was a combination of West African religions and Catholicism. And that morphed into something called voodoo. And the voodoo priests were the most powerful black people in Haiti. Like, people listened to them. And they were the ones in the mountains who were talking about revolution. Everybody in Haiti knew about the French Revolution. When the black folks, especially the ones in the mountains, learned about the French Revolution, they're like, wait a minute. The French just revolted in France because they said they want their freedom? What the hell? We want our freedom also. Other thing, back to those Maroons in the mountains, was those Africans developed, as they did everything, they developed their own religion. And the religion was a combination of West African religions and Catholicism. And that morphed into something called voodoo. And the voodoo priests were the most powerful black people in Haiti. Like, people listened to them. And they were the ones in the mountains who were talking about revolution.
So this leads me to my point. Like our brothers, the Haitians ousted the French under Toussaint Louverture, right? But also using voodoo to get them up out of there. Should modern day black folks give up or rewrite democracy with the use of African spirituality? If the Haitian Revolution was fueled not merely by political will, but by spiritual insurgency, what would it mean for African Americans to reclaim ancestral cosmologies as a weapon of consciousness rather than a relic of superstition? What if Christians and African spiritualists and we all as folk of different denominations and belief systems were to come together and pray this devil out? Ritual this devil. Is it possible for black people today to do what the Haitians did to the French? Is that treason? Can a people truly decolonize their minds while still worshiping through the metaphors, gods, and guilt systems of their colonizers? If African American liberation were reimagined as a psycho-spiritual exorcism rather than a socio-political protest, would the battlefield shift from the streets to the psyche? Can we do what the Haitians did to Napoleon. Should we be looking in that direction if we want any type of liberation, if we want any type of healing? Y'all thoughts?
Well, when I think about what you said, it also reminds me of hoodoo. So, one of my traditions is that I practice hoodoo. I'm a 5th generational hoodoo practitioner. And that at itself was hoodoo was used as a means of oppression against their oppressors. Mm-hmm. So African spirituality at its core is highly related to the idea of righteousness, the righteous pursuit of justice, mm-hmm. and the fight against the oppression of people. Mm-hmm. So African spirituality has always had its roots in that, and that is exactly what hoodoo was. It was a means of fighting the oppression mm-hmm. of the slave. Many very popular African American people in history practiced hoodoo, and a lot of it wasn't ever often talked about. Like Nat, for example, they talked about his visions and his prophecy. Nat was actually a practitioner, but he was also a pastor. Because people don't realize the two go together, because hoodoo was rooted within the church.
And you talking about Nat Turner?
Yes, I am.
Yes, yes.
I think very cryptic.
Come on, I got you. I got you. I'm with you.
Of fighting against oppression. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
By no means are we talking about condoning violence or anything of that nature,
right.
But rather tapping into our African traditions as a way of setting free, mm-hmm. setting ourselves free, because that starts with our mind. Mm-hmm. We can't set our societies free from oppression if our minds are still in chains.
Right.
Our minds are in chains to the culture, which he talked a little bit about the music, right?
Right.
Black culture, right? Our minds are so ingrained in trapped in the mindset of poverty. We're trapped in the mindset of we have to have this name brand thing in order to feel like we're important.
Right. Right.
So we're trapped in these cycles. And so how can we set free our people if we can't even set free ourselves?
Right.
By simply elevating ourselves spiritually.
I love it. I love it. Baba, your thoughts?
Well, here's the problem, though. I'm under attack because I'm an indigenous black man born in America. I wasn't born in Cuba. I wasn't born in Africa. So, and I am a Babalawo, but that don't sit right with a lot of people. Really don't. And see, here's the problem. I've never heard the Cubans talk bad about other Cubans. You won't hear the Jamaican priests talking bad about other Jamaican priests. And the Haitians, very proud. You have never heard a Haitian talk bad about Haiti or the Haitian culture. Mm-hmm. You will never hear the Nigerians be separated. You, they solid, and they stand up for each other in droves. Mm-hmm. But the indigenous black man, the indigenous mind of the indigenous black folk, they won't stick up for each other.
Divisions, crabs in a barrels, in a way.
See, what it is, I'm indigenous, and I know how hard it was for me to break through to be a Babalawo. Let me tell you something, man. I don't keep it going. They hold the secrets to this religion tight as shit. I don't keep it real. I'm just gonna keep it. You will not get the secrets of Ephod. You will never get it unless somebody gives it to you. I see people fluent in all the old dunes because they got the old dunes online. You can be fluent in every pekati. You can be fluent. You can know all 256 old dunes up and down. You could go somewhere into a room and talk, and you could tell everybody that you know this and you know that. But let me tell you something. For all of us that can see, when you go to a bimbe,
right,
when you walk through that door, especially the Lukumi Babalawos, they sharp. They train you real early how to see. So when you go to a bimbe, right? When you walk through that door, they know who's crowned. Because you can see the of their head. They know who's a Babalawo, because they can tell by the Babalawo, by the look in your face.
Right.
They know. Now you might fool the people who are laymen, who can't see. But people who can see spirits, ain't no way in hell can you fool. And for you to get to that point, first of all, you have to be chosen to be a Babalawo by Omar Miller himself. That is something that the Oduns, when you get your hand in Ifa, or it comes down in your crowning ceremony, whether in your Ita, whether you have to pass the Babalawo or not. A lot of times, different traditions, they will make their sons Babalawos, they will make their nephews Babalawos, without asking a Rumor Miller first.
Giving people power that weren't allowed to have it.
Right. Because you want to get Ifa. I know several people who tried, they got their hand in Ifa. A ruler said, this is as far as you go. They can't even get crowned in it. They have to get another pantheon to work in. Like, I have a lot of godchildren, and I'd be like, Ifa's not for you. Because of your free will, you're not going to adhere to how strict it is. So until we can live amongst each other with peace and unity and justice as the descendants of the Kemetic people, it ain't gonna work. It'll flounder.
So, you know what's so deep about what you're saying? I was talking about the spiritual aspect of things, right? I was saying, hey, man, can we do what the Haitians did when they ran the French up out of Haiti?
They were unified.
Using spirituality, African spirituality. What's interesting about what Baba is saying here, 1972, right? Black leaders converged upon Indiana. It was known as the National Black Political Convention. It was held in Gary, Indiana from March 10th through the 12th. The purpose of the summit aimed to create a unified black national political agenda following the civil rights era. Thousands of attendees gathered to address persistent economic and social crises affecting black communities, advocating for increased black representation and fundamental changes to the political system. Key figures that showed up, you had, it was co-chaired by Gary, the mayor of Gary, Richard Hatcher, and Representative Charles C. Diggs Jr. Prominent participants included activist Jesse Jackson, Amiri Baraka, Black Panthers co-founder Bobby Seale, and Coretta Scott King, as well as Betty Shabazz. Look at all the folks that came out in '72. Do you know they all left with no agenda? They came together for the purpose of unity. They left with no agenda.
Is that surprising?
No, but the point that I'm trying to make here, right? we're at a point in time in 2025 where we can't walk away from the table with no agenda. See, the government is shut down right now because of the political wranglings. You know, there's a government shutdown, and, you know, SNAP, the food stamps has been suspended, and, you know, some military men aren't being paid, and the government has shut down. See, back in 72, the black government never got started because of division. You had all them powerful people there in 72 and walked away with nothing. You got people who said, well, you know what, let's go back to the system that oppressed us and let's change it from within. Let's infiltrate. What I saw, what is written in history is that there were a group of black people practicing their spirituality that irritated the soul of a devil and got their ass up out. Now, I'm asking, can the Christians, much like in 72 for that national black political conference, can the Christians, Muslims, Hebrew Israelites, Ifa, Lukumi, Voodoo, can everybody come together on a spiritual level and rid the world of this toxin?
I think that, here's the thing. I think that in the literal sense, yes. I'm an optimist, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist. And so I know in theory, yes, absolutely, that can be done. But I want to hint and point out the one part. There's a word called organized.
Ooh, come on.
The people aren't organized because we are allowing ourselves to be divided. And so when we do organize, though, because here's the thing, it's not just organization, it's also support of each other. Mm-hmm. Here's how you see it, right? Within American history, since you want to talk about it, how many black communities existed in America since the 1930s that were solely black communities and who were fluent, who were affluent, who were successful? They had their own churches, they had their own hospitals, they had their own banks, their own doctors, everything, their own teachers. The entire community was just black people and they were successful.
Right.
Go and do your research and you will see what happened to those communities when they came together to do that. Mm-hmm. So, and if the people do find a way to be organized in that sense, then they also have to take into consideration historical tactics that have been done to squash black people's momentum after they have done it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those communities built. Those communities have existed. Look at Central Park. It was a black community that was well off. Mm-hmm. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So in what they did, though, was that they took care of each other. That's why that's the whole premise of Kwanzaa. You know, it is this aspect of digging deep within your culture, but there is also a part where you are encouraged to support black. And that's why, because that's some of the things that they did within those affluent culture, within those affluent communities. Mm-hmm. They supported businesses. They didn't ask for a discount. And that might ruffle some feathers, but imagine that. You don't walk into any other cultures stuff and be like, hey, you know, I know you from so and so. You want to give me a discount? No, you don't. Why is it that within black culture, the normal thing? Not recognizing that people have businesses and that's how they pay their family. That's how they pay their bills. Right. So you should have enough love for your people to where you would be able to just support them for what it is and what they are doing so that we can all rise together instead of trying to hold us down. The table is big enough for all of us to eat, especially if we feed each other.
Ooh. That's going to irritate some black people's soul.
Oh, I know it is. Like, who is this white woman up here saying this? I'm not white, but that's what they're gonna say.
No, but it sounds
I'm prepared for it. I get it my whole life, so.
But it sounds like what you're saying is true reconstruction of the black soul can only happen when African Americans reconstruct those ancient cosmologies, those spiritual cosmologies that slavery sought to erase.
Well, yeah. And also, if you even look at the elements of slavery and what we call trauma, correct? Right? People don't realize that there are so many studies that have been done where when you have black folks who are descendants of enslaved folks, they actually carry that traumatic DNA.
Of course, yes.
So the mentality of light versus dark, that mentality of crabs in a barrel, let me sell out my brother so that I can make a quick dollar. That mentality of let me not support them because that's going to make them shine, and I need to be the one that shines because the table ain't big enough for all of us.
But
that goes all the way back.
But that's why black people today, based off of what you just explained, believe more in the dollar, Jesus, and democracy than they do in hoodoo, Ifa, Lukumi, or internal revolution.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
I mean, they basically bought it hook, line, and sinker. Do you know why there was such a demise of African spiritual traditions? How, it goes back all the way to slavery, because people don't realize when they say, oh, with words, slavery in America, yeah, it took them from their homeland. It took them from all those things. And so they tried to hold on to their religious or cultural practices, correct? And they had to practice it in secret because it was illegal for them to practice it openly. But here's the reason. This was the method. If you can remove someone's spirituality, you remove their power.
Sense of self, their access to spiritual power, yes.
With something less than what they originally had.
Yeah.
So that they become dependent upon your power.
Right.
And not the power of their people. That's the old bait and switch.
Ooh.
That's the old bait and switch, what the church did. And this is coming from somebody who was an ordained pastor. Y'all read my bio, you'll see I've been very open about it. It's the old bait and switch.
Listen, we've been cooking, and I just want to give you guys another opportunity. I want people to show up to y'all website. I want people to support y'all. These are good people, okay? I vetted them out myself. That brother looked out for me during a time when I needed him. And that brother showed up. And listen, when I tell you after that brother showed up, everything changed. Everything shifted. So he has since gotten married. I'm watching his life get better. I'm watching everything around him just change. And I'm an advocate of this brother. I believe in him. And he's the person I call when I'm in trouble. That's who I call. I want you guys to go to their website. And I see everybody in the chat room right now putting it up right now. Unitreasures.com. Unitreasures.com.
.co.
Oh, it's .to?
.co.
.co. Got you.
Yep, .co, yep.
Unitreasures.co. They're putting it up right now. Unitreasures.co. Listen, I just want to thank you guys for taking time out of your busy day to jump on this podcast. People are going to be sharing this podcast. They're going to be pushing it around. You guys can share it and push it around on your platforms as well. That's my brother right there, Baba Ogun. That's my brother. I'm so happy to have a brother on. Do you guys have any final words before we sign off for the day?
When these young folk are coming out of the church, man, here's the thing. They are experiencing a lot of spiritual trauma or running to the wrong spiritual leader. They attack me because I say that a ceremony don't have to cost $20,000. They come at me. How in the hell is the religion gonna spread? How in the hell is the religion gonna be sought and taught to these young folk coming out of college or coming out from under the church? If you make a crowning ceremony, $20,000. People been getting crowned since the beginning of time.
Right.
Well, the reason they come for you because that's a threat. By you saying that it doesn't have to cost that, and that's what they charge, that makes you a threat. And they think that you're threatening their bottom line. When in reality, their prices are their prices and your prices are your prices. So that you can make affordable for people, as it should be.
Right.
But some people interpret that as a threat, baby.
Yeah. And I was told it's really not about money. It's really about an energetic exchange. Right? That's what I was told. Somebody said, listen, if you could cover the cost of the goat, if you can cover the cost of the materials I need, plus a little something extra, we good. That's what I was told. You got some people out there that's like, nah, give me $10,000, give me $15,000, give me $20,000. And you mentioned church hurt, and the church hurt has been happening for a long time as well. The people we go to that we confide in to help us to find our way back to the path, to help us to get, tap back in with source, tend to take advantage of us. But the reality of it is, if you're trying to get someone to help you do your work, there will be a cost. But if you're dealing with somebody with good character, as Ifa calls it, Iwapwele, it shouldn't cost you an arm and a leg. You shouldn't have to choose between your mortgage, your rent, your car note, and this work you need done. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense to y'all right now?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's the important piece. So I'm encouraging everybody, man, who wants to get on this spiritual journey. Here go two people you can rock with that are ZoWhat certified. I've gotten readings from both of them. These are two people that you can rock with. I support them. They support me. And we're going to have you guys back on sometime soon. I appreciate you guys. Yes. I appreciate you guys for coming on. And we will talk later on today to process this wonderful show. This was an amazing show, and I just thank you guys for showing up.
Thank you for inviting us. It meant so much for you to open your platform. We appreciate all the love.
Come on. That's my brother and you my sister, and we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep building together. I thank you guys for showing up to the ZoWhat Morning Show. I want you guys to support my guests. Go to their website and listen. Get ready for KBLA Talk 1580, which is my radio show tonight on Tavis Smiley's KBLA Talk 1580. Support, 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 support. It's going to be an amazing topic. We're covering relationships, the whole 9 yards. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. But I'm out. Deuces.